Gayatri Mahamantra. With your back straight. Om Bhura Bhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Mystical Gayatri Mahamantra, Part 20 under the Saturday Sattva ongoing series. As a human, we are born with four major inner resources that we term as Antahkarana Chatushta. Four major inner resources, namely the intellect, that is the buddhi, mana, that is the mind, chitta, that is the mental plane, and ahankar, that is the ego. These four major inner resources, they dispense the entire play, entire leela in our life. The most disturbing inner resource with the unfathomable strength is the mind, mana. Mind has a tendency to renew itself by every passing moment. It endlessly seeks something, some or the other kind of a desire or a craving. It goes on seeking endlessly, and that is why that certain learned ones have given it a name as Ashwatha. Ashwath is a name for the banyan tree that renews itself by every passing moment. And that name has also been ascribed to the desires and their source, the mind. The mind disallows the intellect to settle upon anything meaningful. Any meaningful resolve, the moment you try to come upon that, mind shall intervene and thwart it, deflect your attention, divert you here or there. This mind craves to usurp and take control in order to charge upon our sensorial drivers. It has the seeking to cherish its all unmindful voyages. It wants to charter mindlessly rather. That word has to be very carefully observed. Mindlessly. The mind forcibly asserts itself upon the remaining three inner resources, namely the intellect, the mental plane, and the ahankar, that is the ego. It asserts that my order alone shall prevail, and anyone that shall stall my move, then I will get frustrated. It becomes frustrated. Now, frustration is a big problem. Frustration is a much larger problem in comparison with anger. The sway of the anger comes, something you do as a result, and then after a small period of time it will end. Frustration does not. Frustration does not discontinue. It goes on, perpetuates in continuity and for longevity. It is like a smoldering fire, a log of wood smoldering. And at the same time, not only smoldering, but at the cost of what kind of a fuel? Our time, attention, energy. It eats up the entire creative resource of our life. Frustration is cast upon us by the mind. The moment it is disallowed to charter upon any of its seeking, it becomes frustrated. Thereby, its inimical impacts then are cast upon the members of the remaining bandwagon. Once frustration dawns, then all eligibility of intellect, mental plane, ego, they lie in vain. They are not able to do much. The range of our sensorial drivers, that is the control, is in the control of the mind, and it remains so throughout many lives, one life after another. We are simply driven by the mandate of the mind. The most wobbling one, which is not stable at all. And those reins have to be withdrawn, in fact, from this wobbling mind and have to be handed over to a purified, far-sighted intellect known as wisdom or viveka. Vivek in Hindi, far-sighted wisdom. The reins of all of our sensorial drivers that symbolically also are signified for all kinds of cravings and seekings. So the intellect, which is Dhyo, the in the last part of the series we were upon the, and we are still upon the same, but in a larger light of Dhyo Yona Prachodhyat. This will continue for one more series, in fact. So the intellect must come under the exclusive control of the driver. Intellect should come under the control of driver, or intellect should drive? No. Here one must understand from that symbolic representation of Krishna Arjun chariot. There, who is the charioteer? The one who is driving the chariot at the helm of the steering wheel. Who is that? Keshava, Krishna. Yes, the chariot is owned by Arjuna, but being steered, driven by whom? Krishna. He is the navigator. So the intellect has to be given to whom? Intellect has to be handed over to Keshava. Keshava represents the far-sighted wisdom, the blissful radiance, divine radiance. Intellect must be morphed by the Keshava, the divine radiance of Keshava, so that a justice can be done to this existence known as a human, this entity known as a human. Taking charge of this control from the mind, in fact, is to charge with the Gandiv. Gandiv, that is the bow. Arjuna, Gandiv uthao. Raise your Gandiv, Arjuna. Now raise your Gandiv means to charge upon with all of your energies in order to steer yourself to cherish your most important objective of the life. The Arjuna, with all its might and energy, must charge with its Gandiva, for it bears, remember, the Arjuna's chariot bears a flag atop. And who's on the flag? Whose impression or image is on the flag? Hanuman, Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai. That's very amazing. Hanuman is not a character from the period of Mahabharata. He has been specially borrowed from another era, that is Ramayana. For what reason? And especially the question also comes up when there is Keshava by himself, a representation of the entire unmanifest might is there as the charioteer, then why do we need someone else's image on the flag? And flag means what? You very well understand. Flag should be translated as your objective, your highest consideration. Now, Hanuman being on the flag represents what? The formidable energy. That's Hanuman. So Arjuna must charge with its Gandiv, raise its Gandiv to charge upon with all of its energy within. So in order to take the control from this wobbling mind, this doubt-prone mind, this seeking, craving mind, and give the charge to the stationary, stable, far-sighted wisdom that is intellect, under the blissful radiance of Keshava. The intellect has to take the charge, has to take the control of this chariot of this existence, and that is Dhyo Yonaha Prachodhyat. Gayatri is seeking the ability to discern and determine in order to accept or reject that serves in the primary interest of this existence, that is the human. That is Gayatri. That is the journey towards emancipation, Atmanu Moksharth. That the seat of our decision making must be transmutated as pragya. pragya is the most apt word in Sanskrit and Hindi for the far-sighted wisdom, though Vivek too approximates the same understanding, but pragya is the most befitting word for that. So the seat of decision making in a human must be baptized by what? That is pragya, far-sighted wisdom. And that is Dio Yonaha Prachodhyat. But that is not all. There is another aspect to it which is there as Yonaha, ours. There is a sense of togetherness into it. Why togetherness? The mantra japa has to be observed by an individual. Yes, the individual seeker is seeking its own evolution. Yes, the individual seeker wants to cherish emancipation, the final objective, in its own individual capacity. Yes, but then why ours? Why this togetherness? Why us? Not able to understand. It is going singular. Why all of a sudden plural when it comes to seek the final fruit? When the effort is being made by one person. Now here comes the beatitude and the glory of the ancient Indian wisdom, the Sanatana Deva Sanskriti. We do not want to cherish anything, be it on the mortal plane or into the immutable dimension, only as an individual. A sense of togetherness must prevail. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a special mention in the Karma Yoga, one who cooks alone and eats alone is eating its sin. Now that's something which is extreme. Jo akela pakata, akela khata, pap khata. Which means cooking does not only confine to what you cook in your kitchen. Cooking also has to be understood in the light. The energies of your own existence, they cook every minute something or the other. Every inch that you further in your life, at the end of your understanding, your mental faculties, is a result of the cooking going on within yourself, the cooking by the energy of time, attention, and energy. So whatever you gather, whether in the form of the wealth on this mortal plane, or the kind of experience, the kind of proficiency, networking, whatever you gather, the fruits, the final fruits should not be cherished as a lonely person. As a lonely person. You could have said alone, no. Alone may not suffice the kind of extreme understanding that I want to ascribe over here. That is why deliberately I have gone out to the bounds of the grammar in order to say lonely. One has not to cherish the fruits lonely, in loneliness. It has to be with togetherness. And that is why the word yo nah, hamari, hum, us, the togetherness comes over here. The wisdom should not only come to me. Yes, I am seeking, I am praying, I am under the spell of austerity, I am under the perseverance of my sadhana, but yet the outcome of it has to be shared in sharing. Unless I share it with that, how can I cherish? How can I cherish my objectives? Do I want to see that I evolve by leaving others in the dearth of paucity of various kinds of maladies like ignorance, deprivation, inability? No, I cannot. One man moksha is no moksha. One man moksha is no evolution. There has to be something through me that I am able to serve others as well. So that brings Dio Yona, ours. If there are going to be impacts of my sadhana, then those impacts, those fruits, that accumulation of that bliss energy must also be cherished by others as well. It should not be so that I have my drawing room in some celestial plane, whereas my house is located on a street which is worse than a slum. Can someone live there? No, you cannot. If you hoard hundreds of crores of rupees with you, and you're always vulnerable to one or the other kind of infringement, are you at harmony? Can you cherish that accumulated wealth? No, you will always be the same, the wobbling mind, always doubt prone, under fear. Oh, something may not happen, like that. So, therefore, this sense of togetherness is to cherish the fruits of the outcome of the sadhana with all happiness, with harmony. That's the most important part. Now, the word prachodhyat has to be taken over, which is going to take some time. And remember that the symbolic representation of the Krishna Arjuna chariot, in a way, is also a symbolic representation for Gayatri Mahamantra. And the ground for that shall be established when we come down to the last word of the mantra, that is prachodhyat. We'll proceed upon that in the next part of this ongoing series under Saturday Sattva of mystical Gayatri Maha Mantra. There is much more to come. There is much more to come, right? ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है.